So that is a soft on crime, soft on violent crime policy that was embarked upon the very first day of the new administration.
And just like the president who is elected to something cannot impound the money of the people.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into a whirlwind of political drama, fiery debates, and allegations that are juicier than a reality TV feud. You won't believe the latest showdown between South Carolina's Congressman William Timmons and Maryland's Jaime Raskin. Buckle up because this one's packed with hypocrisy, finger-pointing, and plenty of theater. We're talking about a report that claims President Donald Trump raked in 78 million currency units from foreign governments during his presidency. Sounds explosive, right? But hold on, because there's a twist. And it's got everything to do with Hunter Biden, HOA fees, and believe it or not, Comic-Con cosplay. Let's break it all down.
In terms of these findings, the main objective of committee Democrats is they simply want to see legislative reforms behind this, but they do feel that the former president was in violation.
Now, this all started when William Timmons decided to call out Jaime Raskin during a heated congressional session. Picture it, lawmakers, microphones, and a classic political sparring match. Timmons came in swinging, accusing Raskin and the Democrats of playing fast and loose with the facts. The report in question, which alleges these massive foreign payments to Trump properties, was dissected line by line. And guess what? Timmons was not having it. He argued that these payments weren't profits. They were just revenue, money generated by properties Trump owned long before he even thought about running for office. Do you know how duplicitous it is for you to use HOA payments on a 20 million unit condo in New York? Timmons exclaimed, practically rolling his eyes at the absurdity. That's right, HOA payments. Who knew homeowners associations would take center stage in a congressional debate?
I suppose I'm with the ranking member in saying this is a particularly bad day for anybody on that side of the aisle to get up and purport to lecture us.
Timmons wasn't done. He pointed out that the Trump properties listed in the report, like Trump World Tower and the International Hotel in D.C., were built decades before Trump became president. And here's the kicker. The Democrats didn't even bother to distinguish between revenue and profit. Timmons slammed the report as misleading, accusing Raskin of manipulating numbers to score political points. And you know what? Even Raskin had to admit that the payments included things like rent and HOA fees. Let's pause here. Can you imagine the drama of Congress arguing about HOA fees? It's like the most bizarre episode of a political soap opera.
I don't know what his purposes are, but they've got nothing to do with what has been lawfully adopted by the people of the United States of America.
But wait. This is where it gets even spicier. Timmons pivoted to the Bidens, drawing a sharp contrast between these payments to Trump properties and the allegations swirling around Hunter Biden. According to Timmons, the Bidens aren't just dealing with condos and hotel stays. They're allegedly selling influence on a global scale. He claimed Hunter Biden had been running around the world, cashing in on connections to the big guy, a not-so-subtle nod to President Joe Biden. Timmons made it clear that, in his eyes, these are two entirely different ballgames. You're taking a building that's been around since 2001 and trying to compare it to Hunter Biden selling secrets to foreign governments, he said, practically shaking his head in disbelief. Talk about a mic drop moment.
Donald Trump is in a class of maybe a dozen people who essentially have disqualified themselves under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment.
Now here's where the plot thickens. The Democrats, led by Raskin, have been using this report as ammunition in their ongoing battle against Trump. They're painting these foreign payments as violations of the Constitution's Emoluments Clause, which prohibits presidents from profiting off foreign governments without congressional approval. On paper, it sounds like a solid argument, but Timmons and others argue that this is nothing more than a political distraction, a smokescreen to divert attention away from the Biden family's own controversies. And honestly, the timing couldn't be more convenient. With Republicans ramping up their impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden, the release of this report feels like a calculated move to change the narrative.
So I would say that this is a pro-democratic provision that fortifies and strengthens democracy.
And let's talk about the theater of it all. Timmons didn't hold back, describing the entire situation as a form of political cosplay. Yes, cosplay. He likened the Democrats to Comic-Con attendees dressing up as characters and playing out a scripted drama. It's a bold comparison, but you know what? It kind of fits. These congressional hearings do often feel like performances, with each side trying to outdo the other in moral outrage and rhetorical flair. Timmons argued that this isn't about governance or accountability, it's about putting on a show for the cameras. And honestly, can we blame him for being cynical? When you've got lawmakers debating HOA payments like they're dealing with international espionage, it's hard not to roll your eyes.
So this is a new staff report from the House Oversight Committee Democrats, and basically this culminates a years-long investigation.
But here's the thing, Raskin didn't just sit there and take it. He fired back, defending the report and doubling down on the claim that Trump's businesses profited from foreign government payments. He argued that this isn't just about numbers, it's about conflicts of interest and the integrity of the presidency. According to Raskin, these payments came from some of the world's most unsavory regimes, including China, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. And let's not forget the jaw-dropping figure, 55 million currency units from China alone. Raskin insisted that this is a matter of national security, accusing Trump of prioritizing his business interests over American interests. It's a compelling argument, but is it enough to sway public opinion?
More precise, that found that the former president received some $7.8 million from a variety of foreign governments.
And speaking of public opinion, let's take a moment to hear what people are saying. One fan commented, "Raskin is nothing more than a con artist. He's being called out. I love it." Another chimed in, "Raskin knows the game he's playing. They know they are toast." Clearly, there's no shortage of strong opinions on this one. Whether you're Team Timmons or Team Raskin, it's hard to ignore the fact that this debate has struck a nerve. People are tired of the political theater and want real accountability on both sides.
In fact, they say much of that money came from China, some $5.5 million money that went to, for instance, some of the former president's properties, the Trump Hotel here in Washington.
But let's not forget the larger context here. This report isn't just about Trump, it's part of a broader narrative about corruption and accountability in American politics. Whether it's foreign payments to Trump properties or allegations of influence peddling by the Biden family, these stories highlight a troubling pattern. Both parties accuse each other of corruption while conveniently ignoring their own skeletons. It's a vicious cycle, and honestly, it's exhausting. And let's not forget the bigger question here. Why is Congress so fixated on these scandals instead of addressing the issues that matter most to everyday Americans? While lawmakers argue over financial entanglements and constitutional clauses, millions of people are struggling with rising living costs, healthcare access, and education reform. It's almost as if these controversies act as a convenient distraction from the real work that needs to get done. Think about it. How often do you hear Congress passionately debate the issues that directly impact your day-to-day life versus the time they spend locked in partisan battles like this one? It raises the uncomfortable question of whether these scandals are being overblown for political gain at the expense of actual governance. Adding fuel to the fire, critics argue that the media also plays a significant role in this ongoing circus. By focusing heavily on sensational stories like foreign payments or alleged influence peddling, they keep the spotlight firmly on political drama, leaving other pressing issues in the shadows. Even the language used in reports and debates tends to amplify the emotional stakes, making it harder for the public to separate fact from spin. It's no wonder so many people feel disillusioned with politics when the narrative is always framed as one side versus the other, with little room for nuance or honest discussion. This dynamic only serves to deepen divisions and keep the public locked in a cycle of outrage.
Has found that former President Donald Trump received millions of dollars from foreign governments while he was in office.
But here's another dimension to consider. What if all of this is part of a larger trend where trust in institutions is being systematically eroded? Whether it's Congress, the presidency, or the judicial system, each new controversy chips away at the credibility of these foundational structures. And once that trust is gone, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. This isn't just about Trump or Biden anymore. It's about how these scandals are reshaping the way people view democracy itself. If the public starts to believe that every politician is corrupt and every institution is compromised, what does that mean for the future of the country? It's a chilling thought, and one that deserves just as much attention as the headlines about HOA payments or foreign bank transfers.
Just a snapshot of the amount of money that potentially the former president received, that this potentially was a violation of the Foreign Emoluments Clause in the Constitution.
So, where does this leave us? For one, it's clear that Congress has some serious work to do if they want to regain the public's trust. The constant finger-pointing and partisan bickering are wearing people down. As Timmons pointed out, the American people deserve better than this. They deserve leaders who prioritize the Constitution and the rule of law over political gamesmanship. And let's be real, if Congress spent half as much time actually solving problems as they do arguing about HOA fees, we'd all be better off. In the end, this debate between Timmons and Raskin is a microcosm of a larger issue, the erosion of trust in our political institutions. Whether you believe Trump violated the Emoluments Clause or think the Bidens are the real culprits, one thing is clear: the American people are fed up. They're tired of the theatrics, the hypocrisy, and the endless cycle of scandals. And who can blame them? At the end of the day, we all want the same thing: a government that works for us, not against us. So what do you think? Are these foreign payments to Trump properties a smoking gun or just another political distraction? And what about Hunter Biden? Does his alleged influence peddling deserve more scrutiny? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.